Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox writes at PJ Media.
Eat Tucker.
And that was your last.
Damn it, man. I cried for 2 days.
Megan, thank you very much for that.
So, I can explain the bed thing.
If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. I don't care if you're in the hospital. Tuft, crawl to the stake. Crawl there.
It's like Jesus going into the temple. He's like, I got a whip! Get out! Get out! The lovely and wonderful Megan Fox. Not that one.
Not that one. Not the weird one that drinks blood in his toe thumbs.
Megan Fox.
Megan. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
She's the devil.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
Megan.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
You've never met a like me. You want to tangle? You want to go? Holy sh**.
Too much cussing on this. I guess we didn't bleep it, so we got to turn it off. But it's.
You pissed off the wrong woman.
Oh my God! I have been assaulted, but Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother.
She's the devil.
Not for publication.
The story.
I'm Megan.
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 Megan Fox.
Mr.
Thank
Eccles,
you.
cheers.
Cheers.
Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? Welcome back to another episode on the Megan Fox Investigates show, full of medium, smart, and tenacious AF coverage of whatever it is that we're talking about. And what we're talking about today is, again, the Take Care of Maya case, and we are talking about Judge Carroll and his role in it. Now, I know some of you don't agree with me. Maybe you don't like the dunce cap that I put on Judge Carroll, but frankly, I think all judges need a dose of reality to come back down to where the little people are occasionally. That black robe doesn't really give you the ability or the, what's the word I'm looking for? A black robe does not allow you to just ignore the facts. And I feel like the Tuft of Justice has now earned a new nickname. I shall from now on be calling him the Tuft of Injustice. Why is it that every time I go live, my kids need something? I've got now suddenly Spawn is texting me and texting me and texting me. What is happening? All right. I know. I need to do that. Okay. Sorry. All of a sudden I get like 3 texts as soon as I hit the live button. It couldn't have been, during that ridiculously long introduction. No, it had to be directly after that when I'm live. Anywho, I think I can ignore this for now. Wait a minute. She needs money? Why do they always need money? Oh, for crying out loud. For Fox's sake. Speaking of for Fox's sake, you should head over to the merch store and get yourself a t-shirt that says for Fox's sake. Those are fun. I'm working on the medium smart, tenacious AF ones. But if you haven't seen the For Fox's Sake ones, there they are. Go over there to the merch store and pick yourself up some. They're fun. There's also this one, which I really like. Sorry for having great tits and correct opinions on everything. I know that bothers you, especially. We will be talking about a cold-blooded, flap-eared piece of baggage that has decided to take clips of this show, put it in her podcast, and take it out of context without contacting me and asking me for an opinion about it. There's a podcast called No One Should Believe Me, which I find hilarious. And just for this, I took out my Shakespeare insult generator because I figure if she wants to take more clips from this show, it's going to be creative. And if she wants to know what I think of her, I could call her names like a cruddy, leaden-footed codpiece. Because if she's going to take clips, they might as well be hilarious. The ones that she did take were stupid and had no context in anything. How about a fawning, muddy-mettled cozener? What's a cozener? What is that? Oh, a cheater or an imposter. Yeah, the Shakespeare insult generator is a lot of fun. Well, I think it's funny. I listened to some of this podcast where this woman basically has her name is Andrea something. I called her out on Twitter because she never contacted me. She never decided to let me know, that she was doing this, I don't know, defaming of my show. I don't know what you would call it. But she never reached out to me to be like, hey, I heard your show. I didn't agree with it. Here are some things I think. What's your response? And yet at the same time, she had the nerve, the absolute nerve to talk on the show about how our programs don't reach out to the other side, or how the Take Care of Maya documentary didn't reach out to the other side or didn't show the other side's perspective. Well, what the fuck, Andrea? Oh, shoot, we're only 7 minutes into this. I guess I shouldn't have used the F word so fast. If that's really something that you care about, Andrea Dunlop, then why didn't you reach out to me? What do you mean YouTube isn't running? Yes, it is. YouTube is working just fine. Andrea Dunlop, she's the host of Nobody Should Believe Me podcast. And I agree with that. Nobody should believe her because she didn't reach out to me. She doesn't believe Maya. She doesn't believe, and these people do not admit their biases. She's complaining about people being biased. And it's like, well, but you're biased. You're very biased. At least I'm very honest with you about my bias. I was honest with you about my bias when we began this trial. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not on the hospital's side. I'm not on the DCF side. I know they're a bunch of liars. I know this because I've done investigation into them for the last 20 years. And this is the playbook. You're going to see it repeated over and over. And what happened right after the Maya Kowalski trial? We were given the Hernandez case. And I've been investigating that one. Same playbook. Accuse parents of abuse when there's something underneath going on, something medically complex that they can't figure out. Accuse the parents of abuse, take the kid from them. Now they're fighting with the law, and they're fighting with DCF, and nobody's looking at the hospital for malpractice. So I think that after this program today, so we're going to speed through, I have to read through the judge's order, the Tuft of Injustice. After that, we're going to go to a locals exclusive, and I'm going to do an old-fashioned Fisk of Andrea Dunlop's little podcast. And if you don't know what a Fisk is, it's an old school term for ripping apart somebody else's work. Line by line, piece by piece. We're going to tear it down. And I'm going to put it behind a paywall, because if Andrea Dunlop wants to know what I have to say about her show and her, which, is probably something like this greasy, puppy-headed jackanape, if she wants to know what I have to say about her, she's going to have to pay for it. So let's make sure that you're on meganfox.locals.com. because it's a great place to be, and we're going to have a lot of fun today taking apart Andrea Dunlop's little show where she interviewed Shapiro, by the way, and she played clips of it, and it's kind of freaking hilarious because that dude is a lecherous, rank-scented measle. These are so funny. I'm just like randomly flipping a mammering, rug-headed miscreant. What does rug-headed mean? It means shaggy-headed. It sounded deliberately racist, so I'm glad it wasn't. These are not my words. These are Shakespeare's words. So, you know. Or an obscene rump-fed parasite. Why don't you clip that, Andrea? Clip that. That's what I think of you and your show. Clip that. All right. Anyway, we need to get over to that. Now, I had to restart my computer before we started this, so I lost the judge's order. It was up on the screen. It is not now. So you're going to have to, why don't we listen to some rave music while I pull it up? Ready? Here we go. Sarasota court docket. Rave on. Am I feeling better? I have a real bad headache today. I'm really not sure what's wrong with me. I wish I knew.
What is my problem?
All right, we're almost there. There's so many steps to go through. All right. Looks like I need to open this. And here we go. That's too big. Thank you. Let's move that over here. All right. This is the order that the Tuft of Injustice has issued. Let's make this bigger, shall we? Oops, I hit the wrong button. I always do that. Okay. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger by me being up here. No? No, I have to cover your chat by making it really... Well, that still doesn't really work, does it? There we go. Okay. Order permitting limited juror interview. Oh, shoot. I still have to send her money. I forgot to send her money. How do I do this? I have to send Apple Pay. Hold, please. God, kids. Kids, man. Quit bothering me. All right. All right. Send her sub money. You know, these kids, they get free lunch at school. And yet my kids still bother me to go because she wants to walk to Subway or whatever. All right. Here we go. Order permitting limited juror interview. The jury in this case rendered its verdict against defendant Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital in both the compensatory and punitive damages phases. Defendant filed its motion seeking a new trial based on alleged juror misconduct of juror number 1, requesting a juror interview together with expansive discovery. Defendant has supplemented that motion three times in writing.
Bullshit.
Plaintiffs responded in opposition, and then listed the numbers. Oh no, now I have hiccups. Everything's getting in the way today. I have a headache. I'm wondering if I'm really sick or not. I can't tell. I really cannot tell if I'm sick or not. I mean, I've been sleeping for 3 days. My stomach hurts, and now I have a bad headache. But that's all the symptoms I have: a stomach ache, a bad headache, and sleeping. And so I can't tell. Am I sick or am I just overwhelmed? I don't know. I really don't. I really don't know. I've never felt like this. It's weird. It's bizarre. And I want to know what my problem is.
What is my problem?
It could be stress. It could be stress. Yeah, that's possible. That's how I feel. Lauren Farmer says, that's how I feel every day. Yeah, well, I don't know. It could be stress. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. We have to catch up on. There's super chats to catch up on already. Okay. Oh, I highlighted this one before the show even started. Skoda says, "Why is Carroll even doing the interview if he admits there's no reason for it?" Yeah, we're going to get to that. That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel, and that's why I started your message, because I think, wow, he admits they have nothing, and yet he's still doing this. All right, Unhung Hero, thanks for the super chat, says, read it, cooming themselves. The Tuft has been generally fair, but this seems like a waste of time. Of course it's a waste of time. They have nothing. Casey Cat, this is all about Carroll protecting his record because he aspires to be a court of appeals judge. He doesn't want to be overturned. Well, whatever. I think that's a really shitty reason to drag juror number 1 through this public humiliation. Unhung Hero says they don't pay jurors enough for stuff like this. There has never been a truer statement, Unhung Hero. Unhung Hero, again, according to WebMD, you have internet connectivity issues. You mean with the stomach and headache? Maybe. I always have internet connectivity issues. Yeah, I haven't had a fever. I haven't had chills or aches. I did have loss of appetite, but at the same time, I was very hungry, which was really weird. So I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not sick enough to go to the doctor, but I'm sick enough to want to lay in bed all day. Or I'm not sick at all. I'm not really sure. But I have to get out of bed. I've decided today. I was like, that's it. I'm out. I'm getting out of bed. Regardless of how I feel. Okay. I can't say that, Unhung Hero. Atomic Ray on Rumble says, cognitive dissonance will cause those symptoms. Try to stay away from the bullshit. But it's all bullshit. This is the problem. It's all bullshit. Okay, I got to stop looking at the chat because you're distracting me. Defendant's motion weaves together several alleged violations. I like this this wording. Defendant's motion weaves together several alleged violations of the court's instructions or misstatements on the juror questionnaire. Now, could that mean the way that that's written, that the judge is laughing at this a little bit? Maybe. But if he were, I don't think he would have allowed this. But it does seem like, it's a stretch. They're weaving together these conspiracies, these Reddit conspiracies, and calling it factual, and it isn't. During argument, defendant contends that while each in isolation may not the defendant contends this? Now that's funny. So they admit that each of their little allegations may not rise to the level of requiring a juror interview. The cumulative nature of them, according to defendant, shows a predisposition on the part of juror number 1 to violate the court's orders. This is so much bullshit. There is no evidence that he has violated any of the court's orders. Not one shred of evidence. Not one. Everything was about his wife and his handwriting, which you will see later in this motion is being dismissed. That one, the judge isn't even going to hear.
Nobody cares.
How can all of these things that are zeros equal 1 or 2 or 3 or 4? Ridiculous. All right, so the cumulative nature of them, according to the defendant, shows a predisposition on part of juror number 1 to violate the court's orders, which had a material effect on the verdict. Baloney. How could it have a material effect on the verdict anyway? His wife's actions had a material effect on the verdict? This is just stupid. All right. The foundation of much of defendant's motion is defendant's continued insistence that juror number 1's questions of witnesses during trial showed bias against defendant. But the court already decided that it didn't. The court previously decided that issue adverse to defendant. So at least the judge is noting here, I already ruled on that, and I said it didn't happen. And yet he is continuing to allow them to throw this fit and get their way. Plaintiffs contend that no juror interview should be permitted. And I agree with that. It's ridiculous. In summary, plaintiffs contend that defendant did not meet the standard for a juror interview and that defendant is too late with their complaints. They are. Plaintiffs suggest that defendant's basis for the juror interview is based on rampant speculation, and it is. They don't have one shred of actual evidence.
You are fake news.
Not one shred. Plaintiffs also present contrary evidence disputing the theme of defendant's motion. Florida Rule of Civil Procedure 1.431H governs requests for juror interviews in a civil case. And that rule provides that a party who believes that grounds for legal challenge to a verdict exist may move for an order permitting an interview of a juror or jurors to determine whether the verdict is subject to the challenge. The motion must be served within 15 days after rendition of the verdict, unless good cause is shown for the failure to make the motion within that time. The motion must state the name and address of each juror to be interviewed and the grounds for challenge that the party believes may exist. After notice and hearing, the trial judge must enter an order denying the motion or permitting the interview. If the interview is permitted, the court may prescribe the place, manner, conditions, and scope of the interview. Although trial courts should be hesitant. Judge, don't make excuses. Although trial courts should be hesitant to grant motions for post-trial juror interviews, I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to be hesitant to do it. Such interviews are proper where there are reasonable grounds. What reasonable grounds? Grounds. I need a grounds button in here. I don't have a grounds button. Damn it. Where there are reasonable grounds to believe misconduct has occurred. The Second District has summarized the general standard applicable to a motion for a new trial based on juror misconduct. Yeah, there isn't one reasonable ground. Not even one. Not one, Judge. Sustain. Wait. I object. Where's my Darrell Brooks meme? It's in here somewhere. What the hell did I do with it? Oh, here it is. I object to this on grounds. What grounds? The hell, Judge? Don't make me bring out Darrell Brooks. Who is rotting in prison where he belongs, by the way. All right. Where was I? An inquiry is not permitted unless the moving party has made sworn factual allegations. What factual allegations? His allegation is literally, it strains credulity to believe that juror number 1 didn't violate his oath. That's the substance of his allegation. Honest to God, that is the substance of the allegation. Yeah, you're right. This calls for shame, Bell.
Shame.
What factual allegations? An inquiry is not permitted unless the moving party has made sworn factual allegations that there were none, that if true, would require a trial court to order a new trial using the standard adopted. But there wasn't one factual allegation. He had some factual allegations against juror number 1's wife. Unfortunately for him, juror number 1's wife wasn't under an oath. And juror number 1's wife didn't do anything wrong, according to the court orders. Who the hell is texting me now? Oh, for fuck's sake, child. I'm going to just... Would you stop? I'm on the air. She's just texting me random stuff. Stop texting. Unless it's... Why isn't she paying attention in school? Pay attention in class. Okay. Every time she does this, my thing on my wrist buzzes. This is why I know she's texting me. No texting, no peace. She might be on the bus to her other school because she goes to like 2 schools. Oh, lunch. She's at lunch. That's why she's texting me. Oh my gosh. Shut up. To my wrist. All right. Now be quiet. All right. An inquiry is not permitted unless the moving party has made sworn factual allegations that, if true, would require a trial court to order a new trial using the standard in State v. Hamilton and Baptist Hospital of Miami, Inc. v. Mailer. Under the Hamilton standard, the moving party must first establish actual juror misconduct. What part of this does the judge see actual juror misconduct? He has not established any. Not any. The movement is entitled to a new trial unless the opposing party can demonstrate there is no reasonable possibility that the juror misconduct affected the verdict. But he did not demonstrate any of this. My God. Oh. What are you people saying in the chat? Oh, whoops, wrong button. I'm trying to bring up. Unhung Hero says, interacting with Reddit is known to cause cancer. Oh no, maybe I should stop going over there. Here for the truth. Thanks for the super chat. Says, YouTube is seriously effed up today. Really? What's going on YouTube? What's wrong with it? Jason J, thanks for the $20 super chat. Says, teacher here in Two Rivers, Wisconsin heard another child. Please help. School district has no comment. And we just learned about it this morning on the news. And I have a special needs child in the district. And it happened October 22. Two Rivers, Wisconsin. Jason, do you have my email? You can send me is it been reported in the news? Like what info do you have on it? If you want to send it to my email, it's meganfox.writer@protonmail.com. I'll put my email up on the screen for you. Where is it? It's buried in here somewhere. There we go. So you can email me. I'm happy to look at it. Chaos Coordinator member for a month. Congratulations. And you're in the Fox Den. Sweet baby dumpster Jesus and cake. It's been a month. Thank you for all you do, Megan. Keep going. Yeah, it has been. I mean, it's like this is never going to end. That's how it feels. Like this is never ever going to end. And I do feel for Kyle and for Maya, who if you remember in the documentary, there was a moment when Kyle is crying and screaming, it's never going to end. And I feel that. You know, I feel, how much more can this family be put through? How much more do you want them to suffer, Johns Hopkins? And now they're bringing in the big guns. They're appellate lawyers now. That's what the notices of appearances, the next two lawyers, they're sending them from Maryland, so Johns Hopkins can no longer say, well, it's just all children, some shitty hospital that we bought doesn't have anything to do with us. They're sending in the big guns from corporate now. Yeah, J. Hatch doesn't want it to end. They don't get it. So they're going to continue the abuse of this family come hell or high water. And we're all watching it happen, J. Hatch. We see you. We see what you're doing. We see what you're doing. And it sucks. You're losing. John. Now it's not just J. Hatch. Now it's Johns Hopkins. Now you are putting your name on it. You're putting your stamp on it. You're sending your corporate lawyers to handle what Ethan Shapiro and Howard Hunter have been doing to this family. Now, I hope, you know what I hope? I hope the big guns are coming in to settle this. But I don't think so. I don't think that's what's happening. I think what's happening is they're sending in the appellate lawyers. And they have the reputation of getting large cases, large verdicts overturned. One of them, at least, has had, I believe, 1 or 2 major verdicts overturned. I'm not worried about it. I don't think that this case is going to be easy for them to win on an appellate level. But my God, no, they have not fired Hunter or Shapiro. That has not happened. They're bringing in the appellate attorneys. Now, I thought Altenburn was going to be their appellate guy, but apparently corporate has decided they're going to go with their corporate lawyers from Maryland, where Johns Hopkins is based. But I'll tell you what, I will never, ever, the name Johns Hopkins will always now be associated in my mind with child abuse, period. So great job, Johns Hopkins. Great job. Your reputation is now sullied. And you're, instead of fixing it and just resolving this with the family and apologizing and settling, you're just going to keep going, doubling down. Okay. All right, then. Nationwide Mutt Fire Insurance Co. v. Tucker. Juror interviews are appropriate only to investigate matters extrinsic to the verdict. Inquiry into the individual thought processes, calculation, or judgments of the jurors is prohibited in order to constitute juror misconduct, and therefore a matter of extrinsic to the verdict sufficient to set aside the verdict for a post-trial jury inquiry. Florida and other courts have consistently held that some objective act must have been committed by or in the presence of the jury or a juror which compromised the integrity of the fact-finding process. What's the objective act? Which one is the objective act? There wasn't one. It was subjective bullshit.
Bullshit.
I don't get it. I don't get it. A motion for juror interview need not conclusively establish juror misconduct. The moving party must only establish a basis for inquiry. Well, all right. Now that kind of is contradictory to what we just read up here. Isn't it? It is. Look at this. The moving party must first establish actual juror misconduct. Now let's go back down here to what we just read in this other law or other ruling. A motion for juror interview need not conclusively establish juror misconduct. What the actual F, people? Can you get your damn rulings right? Like, can you get them straight? Because these two completely contradict one another. The moving party must only establish a basis for inquiry. Oh, yeah? Well, it says right here, must first establish actual juror misconduct. Would you please explain to me how one ruling can say this and another ruling can say this? Because these are the opposite things. These are opposite things. I feel my internal Alex Jones is trying to scream.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Why are these rulings exactly the opposite? Lucentile says, I can explain it. Law is stupid. Look at this. I mean, we have just found a complete and total contradiction in the law. Yeah, the contradiction allows the judge to do whatever they want. This is so freaking frustrating. This is really upsetting to me. I don't like contradictions. M169 says Johns Hopkins let John Money abuse the Raymer twins. Yep, it didn't surprise me that they abused Maya as well. If you don't know who John Money was, look him up. I own that book. It's horrifying. And yeah, John Money was a monster. And yes, he was a Johns Hopkins doctor. Unhung Hero, thanks for the super chat, says just wait until Johns Hopkins have to start defending against all sex change surgeries they've been pushing on kids in the next decade or two. Yeah, well, if they get judges like Judge Carroll, they're not going to have any trouble because Judge Carroll's been ruling for the defense consistently for the last 7 years. And make no mistake, this is a win for the defense. I know a lot of you have different opinions on it, but I'm telling you, this is how I see it. You're welcome to see it how you want to see it. But this is not 4D chess. This is simply a ruling for the defense. Okay, Nick says, Nick Campbell, who is a lawyer, says you wouldn't need an interview if you proved it definitively. The language actual juror misconduct doesn't mean that it happened, but that if it did occur, it would be juror misconduct. But that is not how it seems in this language to me. I mean, it says the moving party must first establish actual juror misconduct. And this one says only need not conclusively establish juror misconduct. To me, these things say the opposite things. But maybe you're right. You're the lawyer. I am not a lawyer, but I still find this contradictory and crappy. I know, Nick, I know you don't see it as a win for the defense, but it is because I'll tell you why I think so. It's a win for the defense because even if it's limited in scope, it allows them to make their argument that there was some misconduct here, and he's going to allow them to ask questions to him that he decides whether or not he's going to ask the juror. And I would not put it past him to allow stupid questions to be asked to the juror. Stupid gotcha questions. This is a win for the defense. A loss for the defense would be no. F off. You can't do this. We're not going to put the jury system in America on trial. We are not going to do that. There's no evidence this man did anything wrong. The judge already ruled on that. He literally already ruled on it. And now he's going to go back and say, well, I already ruled on this, but I'm going to let them have their way. No. Bullshit. No.
Bullshit.
This is retarded. I'm sorry, but I don't see it any other way than retarded. Oh, and by the way, Jeff totally disagrees with me. Yeah, Nick, I agree that yes, this is probably why he's doing it, because he doesn't want this issue for appeal. However, I think it is stupid. And I think that it is that the appellate court would look at the evidence that the defense presented and agree with the judge that this is a stupid thing. There's no evidence here that anything was done wrong. So let me get this straight. They're going to pull the juror into court. They're going to put him on the stand and they're going to say, did you talk about this case with your wife? And he's going to say, no. Well, did you look up anything on this case in the news? Did you do any research? And he's going to say, like he did every day in court, no. Because he did say, they asked him those questions in court every day. What different thing did they expect him to say? Stop him from it? Do you think he did this to stop them from harassing juror number one? Do you really think that they're going to stop their harassment of juror number one after this? They are not. They are not. They will be back in court the very next day with more bullshit motions from Reddit. Have you been paying attention? Are you watching the same case I'm watching? The only way. Why am I getting a call? Oh, this must be my Christmas present. Man, my phone is just like blowing up today. They can leave me a message. I have a Christmas present I need to pick up at the craft store. All right. No, I don't think they're going to stop harassing juror number 1. Absolutely not. This is just the beginning. Unless a miracle happens and Judge Carroll, who I am now calling the Tuft of Injustice until he proves me wrong, unless he actually imposes sanctions on them for this, for what they have done. If he finally does that, if he finally imposes sanctions on them and makes them pay the plaintiff's costs for fighting these frivolous motions, like, for instance, the Sally Smith SS motion, which he dismisses in this order, he should impose sanctions for that. Frivolous bullshit.
Bullshit.
He should be sounding like this.
Denied. Sit down.
If he does not impose sanctions on them for that, and the other thing that he dismissed in here, which was, what was the other thing? The other supplemental. Oh yeah, the criminal thing, the criminal complaint or whatever. He needs to do that. That might be the only thing that will stop them from continuing on. But if he doesn't do that, they will not stop. They will not stop. I want to hear like Judge Schrader come out of him.
Don't get brazen with me.
But he's not going to do that. This judge is weak. He is weak.
Wet ass P word.
Sorry, but he is. He should have shut them down a long time ago, but he has allowed this. And because he has allowed it now, he's backed into this weird corner where he has to continue allowing it. He's entertained this, and he should not have. He should not have. All right, I have to stop reading the chats or I'm never going to get through this. Where there is a sufficient basis for inquiry, it is appropriate to grant a juror interview, allowing the moving party to an opportunity to prove, if possible, an entitlement to relief based on allegations. As the court noted before the trial, this is a case of intense public interest. It has generated significant media attention over the span of years, locally, nationally, and internationally. The media coverage has consisted of newspaper and television accounts, and very recently a national magazine article, print and online. A streaming movie on Netflix released June 19th, 2023. Podcasts, a potential book, and other comprehensive print, television, and online coverage. News accounts detail that as of July 3rd, 2023, the movie has been streamed more than 10 million times internationally, and it reached as high as number 2 on Netflix's U.S. movies category. Examoon, thank you for the Rumble rant. It says, Jay Hatch is just salty. A cop dared not side with them. How dare he carefully look at the evidence and not automatically side with them? Yeah, of course they're salty that they lost. Do we have any Reddit reers in here today? Probably. Although I think they got sick of this show. I think they're tired of being made fun of. Yeah. Wendy Morris, thanks for the super chat, says, not sure why the dude from Uncivil Law has against you, but to call you names on another stream enraged my arse. I heard about that. Yeah, I don't really talk about him here. I've said some nice things about him and about his coverage. I don't know why he continues to do the things that he does. I don't know why he continues to name me on other shows and call me names. I guess I will not be talking about him in a nice manner anymore. I used to suggest you guys watch his coverage, and now I'm going to suggest that you don't. Because frankly, I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know why he's as unstable as he is when it comes to me. I don't know what I've ever done to him. And his suggestion last night that he and I have a long internet history is 100% false. We do not have a long internet history. Let me tell you exactly what the internet history between me and Uncivil Law is. I had never met him. I had been on one, maybe, I'm not sure if I had been on a stream with him before the big blow up. I might have, but I don't remember. I was on Nick Rekieta's birthday stream last year. I was speaking to Camelot, who was talking about internet dating and, apps, those dating apps. And you can watch the clip for yourself and see that this is 100% true. I was speaking to Camelot and nobody else. I actually didn't even know Kurt was there. He was up in the corner and he wasn't speaking or anything, so I hadn't even noticed him. And there were like 10 people on the panel. And Camelot and I were joking around. And I said, I don't get it. You're a good looking guy. You could go outside, there are women everywhere, and you could meet a woman, because he was complaining about these weirdos that he meets on the dating app. And he was laughing and I was laughing, and I'm like, you could go anywhere. You could pick him up at a bookstore, you could go to an auto parts shop. Like, I was just joking. And not joking really though, because I was being serious. I mean, he's a good-looking young man. Like, he's not going to have any trouble picking up a chick. So, I mean, so and Rob, Law and Lumber, jumps in, and he was so funny. He goes, "What Nicholas Sparks movie are you living in?" And that was so funny. And I was dying laughing. We were all laughing. It was all jokey, laughing, having fun. And then I made some joke about going to Home Depot or something, or an auto parts store. And all of a sudden, Kirk goes crazy. He starts screaming at me, telling me to F off. I wasn't even talking to him. And telling me about how hard it is for him to meet women. And the only thing I said to him that day was, "I'm so sorry, Kurt. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you took that way." I wasn't even speaking to him. And ever since then, and I did not talk to him again after that. He blocked me online from everything. He used to follow me on Twitter. Now he doesn't. He blocked me from being able to see his tweets. He did like an entire rant about me that, like, the next day, that was online. And then the very next time I saw him was on Nick's stream about Maya, and he did it again. He did it again. He screamed at me again. That is our long internet history. I have nothing against this guy other than the fact that he is irrational when it comes to me. I do not know what it is that I have done, but I don't think it's me. I think it's him. All right, and that's the last thing I'm going to say about it, probably forever, unless he continues, which he probably will. Nicholas Raid, welcome, guys. Come on in here. Happy to have you. All right. Ed, I wasn't giving him any advice. I wasn't talking to him. We were joking. We were telling jokes. You know, I can take a joke about me. I can take a joke about my advice. I wasn't giving Kurt any advice. None. Zero. I was talking to Camelot. Big difference between the two when it comes to women. All right. All right. Let's see. Order directing clerk of court to limit release of juror information. All right. Attending the trial daily were members of the traditional media, as well as members of various internet communities, who reported on the trial to viewers on various platforms. There were 2 media cameras in the courtroom each day, beginning with opening statements, and this feed was broadcast in real time on the internet and picked up by various internet shows, either live or in recaps. I guess that's us. Additionally, the court operated a Zoom webinar with 4 different camera angles, and members of the public were allowed to access but not rebroadcast the court's Zoom webinar feed. Parenthetically, members of the media attended both the individual questioning and group questioning of prospective jurors, but the media chose not to broadcast jury selection. The court also had an overflow courtroom, so additional members of the public could attend jury selection. The court notes the daily broadcast of the courtroom proceedings to give context to the motion and response. Plaintiffs allege that some portions of defendants' arguments are based on investigations conducted at defendants' request by various internet communities. Yeah, favorable to the defendant. Yep, defendant has not denied that belief, but has not expressly agreed to it either. Well, why didn't you ask them, Judge? Why didn't you ask them? Because you didn't. You didn't make them tell you where they got this information, and you could have. And they kept on avoiding it. And, oh, well, someone gave it to me. Who? What someone? Where did you find this? Clearly, it was Reddit. The court will later address its concern about either side deputizing an online community to take actions that the party cannot do itself. I have a big problem with this, Judge Carroll. Both sides? What do you mean, both sides? What do you mean, either side deputizing an online community? We didn't have any communication with anyone on the defense or the plaintiff side until after the verdict. That's when we started having communications with Dr. Corcoran, with Greg Anderson after the verdict. At no time did this program speak to anyone connected with this case until after the verdict, which is absolutely their right to do, to talk to the press. At no time do I know of anyone in the LawTube sphere who were pro-plaintiff side or who were, ended up being pro-plaintiff side. At no time did any of them speak to anyone until after the verdict. But what we do have proof of is Fat Clark Kent, David Hughes, sending emails to people before the verdict on Reddit. What we do have is Ethan Shapiro encouraging Reddit to keep up its work before the verdict. This is garbage, Judge Carroll. This is garbage. This either side bullshit is garbage. I'm calling you out on it. You know it. You know it's garbage. Where is the proof that any of us had anything to do with this, with anyone involved in this case before the verdict? None. Zero, zip. You got nada. This is garbage. This is not true. Even when juror number 1 started speaking to people in the LawTube community or on their programs or in the chats, that was after the verdict. That was after the verdict. Oh, speaking of Fat Clark Kent, this cracked me up. Last night, Recovery Addict is doing his show, and he was trying to think of David Hughes' name, and he couldn't think of it. He goes, the Clark Kent one. He didn't say Fat, but he said Clark Kent. So you know darn well that Fat was in his head. He just didn't say it. We did that, folks. We did that. Who is Fat Clark Kent? David Hughes. Locals, get me a Fat Clark Kent meme, please. Can you drop a Fat Clark Kent meme in the locals chat? By the way, that woman who has the clip this, Kurt. Oh my God. I did not do this. Look at what Locals is doing. Look at what Locals is doing. That is not my hand. They did this. That is not me. I did not do that. I would never do something like that. Be ridiculous. Here's Fat Clark Kent. Don't you remember Fat Clark Kent from the trial? He was very popular. He was the one who left underage bikini photos of Maya up on the screen during her deposition. Remember? That's Fat Clark Kent. Just let you know who it is. Right. Thank you, Locals. And you guys, if you're not on Locals, you're missing out on all the fun stuff. You're missing out on all the fun stuff. By the way, that woman who has that podcast that decided to denigrate my show, that be slubbering, lust-breathed Malmsey butt. What does any of this mean? What's a Malmsey butt? It's a large cask of Malmsey, a strong, sweet wine. Well, anyway, that be slubbering Malmsey butt. She was telling her audience that this show is bad because we laugh at memes. All she did was play clips of me and Greg laughing at memes. Literally, that's what she did. As if we took this entire case as a joke. It was completely out of context. It was complete, and those of you who know me know how seriously I took this case. And when we finally did get to interview Greg Anderson after that epic win, we were all a little giddy. And the reason why I put memes, and we decided that mockery and ridicule is the way to go here, is because I truly believe in the American way. And the American way is ridiculing your opponent, not picking up a pitchfork and a torch, or some tar and feathers and doing what violent people do. We wake up and we choose ridicule. We don't wake up and choose violence. That's what keeps us from choosing violence, the ability to use our free speech rights to ridicule bad people. And it causes them shame. And they should feel shame. And that's why I do it. And I also do it because when we cover these very dark topics, it's too much. It's too much to take. And many people say, I can't handle it. I can't listen to it. I can't listen to stories of child abuse. And that's absolutely understandable. But when we bring out the ridicule, it lets us let off some of that anger in an appropriate way, instead of an inappropriate way, which would lead to violence. And we bring out the shame.
Shame.
Because they deserve it.
Shame.
The 7th floor coven deserves all the shame that we can give them. The 7th floor coven deserves to be... They're over there dropping kids. They're dropping kids by their own admission. Well, we may have dropped her. A kid with CRPS, with a horrible pain syndrome. We may have dropped her. Examoon, thank you for the Rumble rant. Says, is Fat Clark Kent a registered sex offender, or has he failed to register yet? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he is not a registered sex offender, because he wouldn't be able to keep his law license. So that's probably fake news.
You are fake news.
Yeah, I think he's in good standing with the bar. So maybe he shouldn't be after that deposition, but that's none of my business, and it's not my job. McRae, thanks for the $10 tip on locals. Says, Megan, take a COVID test. My friend just had it, and symptoms were mostly stomach and headache, no fever. Huh. It's weird though. It's like, I don't really feel sick. I mean, I do feel sick, but I don't feel sick. I don't want to take a COVID test again. I don't have COVID again. I already had COVID this year. I couldn't possibly have COVID again. Could I? I guess, like, should I take it? Or should I not take it? I don't know. I don't care. I'm starting to feel better, so whatever it is, it's gone. Oh, I missed a bunch of other ones. Sorry, locals. S. Nelson sent a tip, says, if the school is following the Michelle Obama menu, I'd walk to Subway too. Yeah, she hates the lunch over there. Absolutely hates it. So yeah, I gave her the Subway money. Yeah, why take the test? It's not going to help anything. Right. That's how I feel. Like, I feel like it's not going to help anything, so why try? Why take the test? I'm starting to get better anyway. I just have today, it's just the headache, really. The stomach ache is pretty much gone. My stomach still feels a little weird, but it's not hurting the way it was. Like before, it would hurt every time I stood up, which was very strange. Like, very weird. All right, why is that like that? Why are you like this?
What is my problem?
All right. Much of defendants... Oh, okay. So now I had to go off over the deputizing an online community, because who did that? The defense did that. The plaintiffs did not do that. They did not do that. I never got any... Nobody was sending me emails from the plaintiffs' team about any of this before. I didn't even know they were watching. I had no idea that they were watching. We found that out after the verdict, remember? I had no idea they were watching. I was hoping that they were watching, because I thought many of you had good ideas. Many of the other lawyers who were talking about it had good ideas, and I was hoping they were watching, but we had no idea. On the other hand, the Redditors were completely in bed with the defense team. So I don't like that this judge is saying, I don't like that the tuft of injustice here is saying either side deputizing an online community. That did not happen, Judge Carroll. It did not happen with the plaintiff. It only happened with the defense. And I do not like this freaking wording. Much of defendant's initial motion focuses on the alleged actions of juror number one's spouse. Defendant's motion states that juror number one's spouse attended the trial on October 30th, 2023. Defendant points to screen captures from the media feed that depict a woman believed to be juror number one's spouse talking with another person in the gallery. whom defendant identifies as Jules, who apparently has her own online show on TikTok. Well, congratulations, Jules, because you're going to have so many more followers now on your channel. Good for you, because I know this has been stressful for you, Jules, but look at it this way. So many people know who you are now. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to grow your channel. You've done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong at all. K-Rab, thanks for the super chat, says Shapiro said someone, but later said social media. Slip of the tongue, but Judge picked up on it. He is going to address it later, maybe. Yeah. I have lost faith that the Tuft of Injustice will address anything seriously. Stephen Crater, thanks for the super chat, says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Stephen. I appreciate you. It's good to see you. Sandy B, thanks for the super chat, says, I agree, a win for the defense because nothing they filed is factual truth. The plaintiffs proved it all a lie. I agree with that. Totally. I agree with that. Chris Rhodes, thanks for the super chat, says, I'm optimistic that Judge Carroll is using this as a pivot to then drop the sanctions hammer on defense. Until then, he's appeal-proofing the record. I do not expect any hammer dropping. That is wishful thinking. I'm sorry. This judge has a problem.
Wet ass P word.
And I don't think he's going to get over it anytime soon. Who has her own online show on TikTok and who would call into other online programs on YouTube. Oh my God. Yeah, Jules needs a YouTube channel now. Jules, it's time to start your own YouTube channel because now's the time. Take the opportunity. Because everybody's talking about you. And this is an opportunity for you to grow and make some money. You might as well make that money, girl. Get that grift. Because this is outrageous. Is Jules here today? Is she here? Jules, I hope you're here. And I know you're angry, but turn that anger into some kind of motivation to just grow your channel. And I'm sorry this is going on. Defendant contends that Jules was pro-plaintiff, going so far as accusing Jules as being plaintiff's agent. Oh my God. My God. This is so stupid. I can't even. Plaintiff's agent. Oh, this is so frustrating. I'm looking for, so there was this other sound. Wait, where are the cartoon sounds? I just had it. I need to put it on the board. Plaintiff's agent sneaking around as plaintiff's agent. It's so laughable and stupid. Oh, Local says there's a meme I have to see. Sorry, guys. When I'm reading, I have to put the thing real big up on the screen or I can't see it. Don't put Kurt's hat on me. What are you doing? Don't put his hat on me. I'm not showing that one. I don't like it. Let's see. Is there another one? Oh, good God. The Tuft of Justice used to be much, much larger. Poor judge. Well, he's lost a lot of weight. I can't show this, but can I? I guess I could show this picture. Oh, my God. Wow. I would like to know what the Tuft of Injustice did to lose all that weight. He's had some fantastic weight loss. He was like, it looks like he ate himself in this picture. This is like a mohawk of injustice that we're looking at here. This used to be, the side view is something we have not seen before. Imagine looking in the mirror. See, we used to like the Tuft, but now I'm starting to really not like the Tuft. And so now I think that the Tuft is the Tuft is silly again. It is silly again. Judge Carroll, you need to shave it off. Maybe he did squats. Yeah. Well, congratulations to the Tuft for the massive weight loss. It's a faux hawk. Melanie says that's where all the chocolate cake went. Congrats to Judge Carroll for the massive weight loss because, wow, he looked very unhealthy back then. And it's hard to lose weight. I know. It's a difficult process. Hard to keep it off too. I put on like 5 pounds. I'm not at all happy about it, and I need to take that back off. The holidays are the worst time to try and do that though. But I do have a new gym membership now. So I've been going to the gym and walking since I have not had shifts at work because of the slowdown. I have been doing a lot of walking to try and keep my neck loose and all of that stuff. My husband and I, when we went Christmas shopping the other day, we started out our day by going to the gym together, which was a lot of fun. And so we walked a lot that day. But then I ended up in bed with this stupid stomach thing, and so I'm behind on that. I am behind on it. Okay, where were we? Oh, Ezra, I feel you. Baby weight dragging me down. It is so hard to take the weight off when you put it on after babies. And I don't know why. And I think it's because your body like hangs on to that fat, for nursing and all that stuff. Like your body goes into like survival mode and like you got to take care of this. You have to take care of this new baby, And so like you're storing all this fat for the baby and it just refuses to come off. It's a horrible thing. It's terrible. Very hard. It was the third one that got me the worst. The second one, after the second one, it came off pretty easily and I was like skinnier than I was before the first. And then the third one, combine the third with my age at the time. I think I was 39 when I had him. Tough. Very, very tough. It took me like 6 years to get rid of it. Very hard. Yeah, I haven't seen Jules today either. Lauren Farmer says, I hear cocaine helps. That is not medical advice. Do not suggest illicit drugs here, but that was a funny joke. Uh-huh. All right. The court will later address, much of defendant's initial motion. I did that. Plaintiff's agent. Defendant also points to social media posts during trial made by an online account that has been attributed to juror number one's spouse. Yeah, well, who cares? Who freaking cares? Defendant argues that juror number one's spouse heavily was pro-plaintiffs. Again, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
To suggest juror misconduct, defendant baldly asserts. Well, the judge would know about baldness. Defendant baldly asserts it strains. Did he mean boldly or baldly? Did he mean boldly? I think he meant boldly. Can you say baldly asserts something? Like, what does baldly mean? Hold on. Maybe it means without, it is a word. It means without any extra detail or explanation, plainly or bluntly. So he's saying they asserted it, but without anything to back it up. Defendant baldly asserts it strains credulity to believe that juror number one and his spouse were not discussing the case in violation of this court's instruction. Defendant seeks to piece together occurrences in the trial to suggest there must have been discussions between them. In reviewing the posts attributed to juror number one's spouse objectively, though, the court observes they are not necessarily indicative of improper communication or other misconduct. No, they are not. So why the hell are you doing this, Judge? Why didn't you just tell them to go suck eggs? I don't understand.
Quiet.
Just tell them to shut up and sit down.
Denied. Sit down.
Believe in yourself, Judge. We believed in you until recently, but you don't appear to believe in yourself in your own rulings. I mean, this is absurd because the damage is already done. This is where I disagree with Jeff and the other attorneys who are like, there's no damage in, bringing him in and asking him some questions. No, I'm sorry, the damage is already done. I am a member of the public. I am a potential juror. At this point, after witnessing this, and this is in all seriousness how I feel about it, I would not subject myself to the possibility of serving on a jury and then having some big corporate lawyer with millions of dollars to drag me and my family through the mud, to the power to do that, when I see that a judge like this will not protect his jury. He will not protect his jury. He did not protect his jury from this. I'm not doing it. I'm going to go, if I get called in for jury duty, I am going to say to the court, you do not want me on this jury, because I have lost faith in the American justice system, and I think this is a joke. And the reason I think it's a joke is because of Judge Hunter Carroll in Florida and what he did in the Maya Kowalski case. He allowed big, powerful corporate snaky attorneys to drag juror number 1 and his family and his stepson through the mud publicly. He allowed them to be doxxed. He allowed them to be harassed. He allowed them to be drugged through this for months. He never said a damn word to make them stop it. He let them put their address online. He let them make ridiculous assertions about the way the guy drew his S's. He let them defame this guy in public, drag his wife and family through, put pictures of his wife all over the internet and her social media. And I'm not interested in that, sir or ma'am. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in opening up my life and my family's privacy to some snaky corporate lawyers who have buckets and buckets of money to drag me through this. No, thank you. I don't want to do it. I already hate the lawyers in this case. I hate all these lawyers now. I don't trust any of them. I don't think this system is fair, and I don't think it's safe. So I think the damage has been done, because that's how I feel about it. I'm not going to be in jury duty. No fucking way. Although they don't ever want me anyway. The second I tell them what I do, they dismiss me. Nick, it doesn't matter if she put herself on social media first. She did not put her address on social media. He did that. She did not put disparaging things about herself on social media. He did that. Shapiro and Hunter did that. No, it does matter. It matters because she did not put her address online. She did not put stuff about her son, private matters about her son that nobody would have looked into because nobody had their names or the ability, the reason to look into them for any reason. She did not put that online. It doesn't, just because you serve on a jury, it does not open your entire life to being dug through by a bunch of degenerate lawyers with millions of dollars. So, no. Someone has already cited this case as a reason not to be on a jury in the state of Florida. Who? Where? Would you please, if you have information about that, I would love to know it. Because I would like to write an article about why I'm not going to serve on a jury. I'm not doing it. I'm not. If you think that I would put my family in the target hairs of some corporate big time lawyers, no way, man, no way. Meme Yard says my kid just interrupted me to add money to her lunch account. It's going around today. It's going around. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. He has allowed this interrogation, and it gets worse. We're not even at the worst part. It gets worse. Yeah, Sarah, if you can find that, I would love that. Because I would like to write about the real implications of this. There's going to be pushback by the public. You expect us to come in there and get paid $20 a day, be on leave from our jobs, not able to be online, do all of those things you have to give up, all the sacrifices you have to give up to be on a jury, and then the judge won't even protect you from this kind of unwarranted, nasty attack? No, absolutely not. I'm not ever going to be on a jury. I'm going to tell them right away, I cannot be fair and impartial because I hate lawyers. And here's why I hate lawyers. And I don't like judges either. Because I don't believe that you'll protect me from them. So you want to keep me here? Do so at your own peril. Because I don't believe in this system. This system sucks. And it's all because of Judge Hunter Carroll in Florida. You can blame him. Call him and ask him why he did what he did. Because he destroyed the jury system, in my opinion. Nobody is going to want to do this now. If you've seen this trial and how this shit went down, you're going to be like, no thanks. No thanks. And that's unfortunate, because that means that the court system's going to suffer even more than it has been. Because the only people who are going to be on a jury are people too stupid to get out of it. Before this, I was actually changing my opinion on being on a jury. Before this, I was like, you know what? More of us need to be on juries. Smarter people, the medium smarts, need to get on juries. And now I've completely changed my opinion. I think you should do everything you can to get off of a jury, because this is bullshit. You should not be subjected to this. You should your family, your children should never be subjected to this bullshit. No. Did I hear about the change in the law in DCF? Yes, and it doesn't make any bit of difference, whether it's public or private. Like I told you before 100,000 times, DCF has no oversight, no accountability. It does not matter whether it's private or public. It's all terrible. In every state where DCF is just public, trust me, it's still not, there's no transparency, there's no accountability, and there's no one to go to when they screw you over. And they get full immunity. So it doesn't matter. Private or public, doesn't matter. That's Florida putting a Band-Aid on an amputation, is what that is. It's just a flesh wound, spurting blood all over the place. Well, let's put a Band-Aid on it. Yeah, that'll work. All right. I'm getting angry. I need to calm down. I'm getting angry. Let's put some chill music on. Maybe that'll make me feel happier. All right. Defendant seeks to piece together occurrences in the trial to suggest there must have been discussions between them. In reviewing the posts attributed to juror number one's spouse objectively, though, the court observes they are not necessarily indicative of improper communication or other misconduct. Regardless, there were no court instructions that restrained any juror's family member from watching the trial or publicly expressing their view about the case, which is what we all said. In this context, the court currently does not believe it necessary to interview juror number one's spouse. Well, good, because that would be retarded. All right, the music is helping me a little bit. I feel like I'm calming down a little bit. Christmas music? The only Christmas music I have is creepy. You want to hear it? Maybe this is perfect for this. This is perfect. It's Silent Night in a minor key. There were, however, constant instructions to the jury not to discuss this case with anyone, not to receive any information about the case outside the courtroom, and not to investigate any aspect of the case. I feel like I'm on a podcast about murder. There were also instructions not to review any media coverage of the case, and the jurors were instructed to report anyone attempting to approach the jurors. While defendant's assumption that juror number one and his spouse spoke about the case certainly is not evidence, the court concludes under these very unique facts that defendant has made a sufficient showing for an interview of juror number one. What? Let me read that again. There were also instructions not to review any media coverage of the case, and the jurors were instructed to report anyone attempting to approach the jurors. While defendant's assumption that juror number one and his spouse spoke about the case certainly is not evidence, the court concludes, under these very unique facts, the defendant has made a sufficient showing for an interview of juror number one. How? 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 Where in this order have we seen any sufficient... There's no what unique facts? He says that the stuff about the wife is stupid and doesn't make any sense, so he's throwing that out. He says the stuff about, like, I don't understand. Where does he come up with he's made a sufficient showing? How? I am flabbergasted by this. Oh. Is Melanie here? Hey, Mel, if you're here, Melanie, welcome. I'm shocked by this. I don't know where he comes up with this. Oh, hey, Melanie Little, welcome. You and I have not had a chance to speak yet. Hopefully we will. I got to watch some of your show last night, but I had to turn it off. I got a little upset. You probably know why. All right. There were, however, okay, we got that. I want to know how in the hell he goes from saying none of this stuff has any relevance, juror number one's spouse and what she did. But we can conclude that under these very unique facts, the defendant has made a sufficient showing for interview of juror number one. Jeez. This is so weird. The court, therefore, concludes that a limited juror interview is appropriate in this case.
Bullshit.
I don't agree. Where an interview is permitted, Rule 1.431H provides the court may prescribe the place, manner, conditions, and scope of the interview. Who is Melanie? Melanie Little has a channel. She's a lawyer on YouTube. She has a channel. She's been covering this case. You guys should check her out. And she's been doing great coverage of this case. So check her out. There is some authority that would permit the court to allow the juror interview to occur in private, outside the presence of the public and media. Counsel has a right to be present during the juror interview, as well as to retain a court reporter to report the proceeding. Okay, so the court, instead of counsel, may conduct the interview. Oh, wait, hold on. What did Melanie say? I'm missing it. Let's see. One of my viewers was on jury duty last week, and two prospective jurors used juror number one's experience to get out of jury duty. Yep, Melanie, that is exactly what I would do. And I'm telling you, that's what I will do. It's what I will do in the future, because this is garbage. And see, this is what I meant by the other night. I said that the damage has already been done because Judge Carroll didn't shut this down immediately. Didn't shut it down immediately. If he had, we wouldn't be in this situation. If he had said, this is outrageous, I've already ruled on this, I've already told you no, do not go to Reddit, do not delve into these stupid conspiracy theories. If he had done that, if he had sanctioned them, if he had been serious about protecting his jury, no one would be saying, I can't do jury duty because I'm scared that I'm going to be dragged through the mud publicly by rich attorneys with nothing to lose. 100% too little, too late. The damage is done. The damage is done, Judge. It's done. And he has lost my respect. He went from being the Tuft of justice to the Tuft of injustice. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this shit. He absolutely threw his own jury under the bus. Absolutely. There you are. I missed your super chat. Melanie says, 100% agree, Megan. This is why people hate lawyers. HWH has destroyed our jury system. It has been a long December, and there's no reason to believe maybe this year will be better than the last. Keep fighting the good fight. It's true. This is so wrong, what they have done. And this will have long-reaching effects on the jury system for the rest of our lives. This was such a bad decision by this judge to not shut this down when it first started. Snazzy Trinkets Jewelry, thanks for the super chat, says, do you think it's possible Carroll will question juror number one about being doxxed and how it affected him in prep for sanctions? I can't tell you what I think this judge is going to do anymore. I just think he's not going to do. I'll tell you this. Here's what I think he's going to not do. He's not going to do anything that's going to help the plaintiffs. He's not going to do anything to help the situation. He has proven that he doesn't do that. Here for the truth, thanks for the super chat, says, Yeah, this baby fat is rough. My baby is 24. LOL. Yeah, well, look, it doesn't change the fact that that's when it all went wrong. Oh, man. What were you wrong about? Me not being upset by what? What did you think I wouldn't be upset about? This motion? Because, yeah, this motion is stupid. Or not motion, this order. This order is dumb. He admits in the whole order, the defense has no case, but I'm going to let him do it anyway. The defense has no case, but they didn't prove anything, but I'm going to let them have their way anyway, because I let them have their way about everything. Maybe I should use the Shakespeare insult generator for Judge Tuft. He's a puking, rank-scented measle for doing this. How about a sickly, swag-bellied mushrump? What's a mushrump? Let's see what it is. There's definitions on the backside. Oh, it's a mushroom. That's funny. How about a spongy, tripe-visaged ox head? Or a stinking, white-livered rampallion. What's a rampallion? A ruffian, a scoundrel. That one actually describes Howard Hunter a lot better. A stinking, white-livered rampallion. God, I love America. I love the First Amendment. Practice it often. I hope that idiot who's been clipping my show for her stupid podcast clips some of those, because, what she did clip was really boring and dumb. So I'm trying to give her some better content. Don't forget, Andrea, you can reach out to me anytime. Andrea of Nobody Believes Me podcast. You can reach out to me. I will respond to you. My email is literally everywhere. And don't forget, we're going to be on Locals, meganfox.locals.com right after this. And I'm going to fisk her podcast, Nobody Believes Me, where she clipped this show out of context and interviewed Ethan Shapiro and allowed the defense to just lie. And, she's clearly somebody who wants to continue the abuse against Maya and her family. And we're going to do a fisking on Locals. But if she wants to get access to it, she's going to have to pay for it, which is why we're doing it on Locals right after this. It's going to be a Locals exclusive. meganfox.locals.com. Make sure that you get in there. Go over there, follow me now, sign up, use promo code Maya, MAYA, all caps, to get a free month on me. Everybody except you, Andrea, can use that. You don't get to use the promo code. You have to pay full price. All right. All right, where am I going? What am I doing? I'm getting distracted by the chat again. Stop it. Stop distracting me. Where an interview is permitted, the court may prescribe the place, manner, conditions, and scope of the interview, of the very unfair interview that is happening. There is some authority that would permit the court to allow the juror interview to occur in private, outside the presence of the public and the media. Counsel has a right to be present. Case law prohibits any inquiry into the matter that inheres in the verdict itself. Putting this more directly, juror number one's thought process about the evidence and juror number one's discussions with the other jurors during their deliberation are not proper subjects of a juror interview and will not be allowed. Juror number one's position, if any, with respect to the case for or against any party is beside the point. The issue is our judge. Your clerk is falling down on the job. The issue is whether juror number one engaged in the misconduct alleged. Case law prohibits any inquiry into any matter that inheres in the verdict itself. Oh, wait, did I already read that? I did. This interview, though, will not include each topic contained in the motion and the supplements. The court will not address with juror number one the matter involved in the second supplement. In this stupid second supplement, defendant points to juror number one's handwriting on an October 12, 2023 juror question. Oh, God, this is so dumb.
Bullshit.
I can't deal with this. I'm going to nuke America.
I can't. An excerpt from the website of Simon Wiesenthal's center documenting the appearance of a uniform badge of the Yahtzee German Schutzstaffel, or SS, is attached as Exhibit B. It will be noted that I forgot to do that. Should I do this in Shapiro voice? It will be noted that in Exhibit A, juror number 1 has printed letter S throughout the note normally with a curve in the spine, except that he printed his S with sharp angles with printing Dr. Sally Smith's name. Both the second and third times that juror number 1 prints Dr. Sally Smith's name, the letter S is shaped in a manner identical to the symbol of the Yahtzee Schutzstaffel exhibited in Exhibit B. Printing the first letter of Dr. Smith's first and last name in this manner makes clear that juror number 1's bias and prejudice against Dr. Smith, and thus defendant, equating Dr. Smith with a notorious Yahtzee organization. In addition, juror number 1 on October 10th, 2023, printed Exhibit C, in which he effectively prejudged the relationship between defendant and Dr. Smith, equating one with the other. This issue is waived or untimely, or both, for at least 2 separate independent reasons. I know, right? Helene T says, every time I hear this, it gets more absurd. Shapiro ASMR has me dying. Well, that's what he sounds like. If he doesn't like it, he should start talking like a normal person. First, defendant saw juror number 1's handwriting on that juror question when it was asked, and in fact had a copy of it during the trial. The court, after reviewing each juror question, handed the attorneys the actual question written by each juror, meaning each attorney could visualize the handwriting. This is the judge's way of saying, Shapiro, are your eyes broken? Do your eyes not work? Because you had it. Further, during the trial, defendant asked for, the court arranged for defendant to obtain all juror questions, including juror number 1's question, during trial. Defendant did not raise in its motion to disqualify juror number 1 made during trial or at any time before the second supplement any suggestion that juror number 1 equated Dr. Smith to being a Yahtzee. Second, defendant filed the second supplemental more than 15 days after the jury verdict. Rule 1.431H required defendant to include its grounds in its motion that had to be served within 15 days after the rendition of the verdict. This 15-day rule implements the strong public policy against allowing litigants either to harass jurors or to upset a verdict. Implements the strong public policy against allowing litigants to either harass jurors or upset a verdict by attempting to ascertain some improper motive underlying it. Judge Carroll, listen to me. Not that he will and not that he is. But Judge Carroll, you have allowed this harassment of the juror number 1 and his wife and her son. You have allowed this public humiliation of this family. You denying them this one thing does not, what's the word I'm looking for? Absolve you. It does not absolve you from what you have done. Okay, fine. So you don't let him use the most ridiculous and retarded thing that he filed, but you're letting him use the second most retarded thing that he filed. It's all retarded, Judge. Like, I wish you had just written in your motion, defendant's motions and supplements are all retarded. Denied.
Denied. Sit down.
Denied. Yes, in Megan's mind, she's talking to him. Yes, just in case he should come across this. Well, you never know. The defendant might put this show in front of the judge. Might put it in a motion. Who knows? Who freaking knows? I mean, this just doesn't absolve you, Judge Carroll. Like, it just doesn't. Because you were able to say, yeah, this retarded thing isn't coming in. You should have said the entire retarded thing isn't coming in. This is so dumb.
What would you say you do here.
That's appropriate because Judge Carroll needs to remember what his job is and not worry about this appeal issue. Because no judge in his right mind would overturn this verdict based on these scurrilous allegations. No appellate judge worth his salt would take this seriously. Yeah, I mean, me too, Darren. Darren says, I'm worried that if a judge is willing to listen to this nonsense and actually entertain it, we could actually end up with a retrial. It's disgusting. I mean, this is not okay. Yeah, he's too focused on appellate issues that would never be an issue. No judge in his right mind, and I'm not talking about Judge Carroll, obviously, because something's wrong with him. No judge in his right mind would look at what the defense presented and be like, oh yeah, there's plenty of evidence here for a retrial. What? Second, okay, 15-day rule. So they didn't get it done in time. That the second supplement issue is either waived or untimely or both means the court does not need at this time to evaluate whether defendant had a good faith basis when counsel signed and filed the second supplement. To be clear, the court is not reaching that issue. Huh. Well, that's too bad. You should have looked into it, Judge, and you should have reached that issue because it was clearly not in good faith. It wasn't. Oh, now I'm getting texted by my sister. Is she listening? Oh, yes, they're listening. Are you enjoying, Stephanie? Are you enjoying me, my takedown of this judge? There's something wrong with him. The court does, though, caution all counsel. This pisses me off to no end. All counsel? Really? Do you really need to caution all counsel? You really don't, Judge. You really need to caution just the defense because the plaintiff has not done this. The court does, though, he says, caution all counsel for deputizing an internet community to do indirectly what an attorney is expressly prohibited to do directly. I have been over this and over this and over this. The only people who there is evidence that they are deputizing an internet community is the defense deputizing Reddit.
Shame.
To do what they cannot do. To do what they cannot do and investigate these jurors. They are the ones weaponizing Reddit. Doctors and their wives. Rich doctors and their rich wives who have nothing better to do than continue the abuse of a little girl and her family. Nothing better to do than continue the abuse of the Kowalski family in the public eye. Dragging jurors now through this. This is outrageous. The plaintiffs have not done this. No one on the plaintiff's team has been in contact with this show until after the verdict. But the defense has been up Reddit's ass since way far before then. And there's emails to prove it. So this is shitty. This right here is shitty. This is why I put a dunce cap on the judge on today's thumbnail. For one, he needs to be reminded that he is not God in a black robe. Nobody in a judge's robe is God. It ticks me off that we are required to stand up for these people who wear a black robe. You need to do a lot more than wear a black robe to get my respect, Judge. You need to actually be fair. You need to actually make good rulings. You need to not put your jury in danger of being defamed and libeled and slandered by a bunch of corporate attorneys who drink blood or something at night. I don't know what they do, but it's gross. I'm sure it's terrible and it sounds like this. Stephanie is riding in the car with her boss, the great Ed Middlebrooks, who is an awesome attorney in Maryland. He is He is the kind of bulldog you would want on your side, because Ed doesn't take any shit from anybody. And he wants to know, you can say the word retarded now? No, Ed, no, you can't say it. But I say these things because you can't say it. That's why I say them. Those of you who want to know, why do I have such a mouth on me? Because I do not like people telling me what to say. And I do not like to, I don't like people curtailing my First Amendment rights to say things, even if it offends some people. In fact, I hope it does. I hope people are offended. Be offended. It will not hurt you. Learn how to be offended and move on with your day. Okay? Now, Ed, I would not suggest you use that term in court, though, although it might make the judge laugh. But it's true. If you are in Maryland and you need a bulldog of a lawyer, look up Ed Middlebrooks, because Ed will fight for you. Ed does not sit down in the face of poor judges. And, you know, he's not scared of judges. None of us should be. And I think that Judge Carroll needs a little dose of reality. Sir, I've lost my respect for you, and I wouldn't want to stand up when you walk in the room at this point. Your robe doesn't do it for me. The tuft isn't doing it for me anymore. Shave that shit off. It looks stupid. All right. It's funny how I've changed my opinion on multiple figures in this case. In the beginning, I didn't like Greg Anderson so much. I was like, oh, this guy is killing me. He's killing me with the paper shuffling and the slowness, right? And on day 13, one of the listeners figured it out. It was day 13 of the trial when it turned all around for me with Greg, and I started loving him and his style in the courtroom. And we loved Judge Carroll throughout this whole thing. And now I'm like, yeah, you lost it. You lost it for me, Judge. And that hurts me, because I was actually in a good mood about this judge, about how I felt he was fair during the trial. And you don't see that very often. And I thought he did a good job maintaining that balls and strikes for both sides. And then we get to after the trial, and he's making me like feel like this inside. Screaming goat, man. Screaming goat. Yeah. Well, it's just a letdown. I can't remember the last time I really liked a judge that I've seen in any of these cases. I can't remember the last time that I've had respect for one of these judges. I mean, in the Rittenhouse case, I really enjoyed Judge Schrader.
Don't get brazen with me.
But in the Anderson case, you know, he lost it. He lost that respect because he was not paying attention. He was totally pro prosecutor. He was not fair in the Anderson case, Zachariah Anderson case at all. So I'm out of judges that I respect, and that sucks, because I really want to believe in our justice system, and I want to believe that judges are fair, and that if I'm ever unfortunate enough to be in front of a judge, that I'm going to get a fair shake. And I just don't see that. I just don't see it. I've watched a lot of court cases, and I haven't liked any of the judges. Not one. Judge Askarati was okay. That's true. Yeah, Judge Penny. I liked Judge Penny in that case. But since then, I've heard that she has been involved in another case that wasn't so fair. So I don't know, though. I didn't look at that case, and I can't comment on it. But I did like her in that. Judge Darrow, I did not like. No, I did not like Judge Darrow in the Brooks case. I thought she was way too weak. I thought she was weak as hell, and that she should have controlled her courtroom a whole lot better. She let him get away with way too much. Oh, the judge is doing the best he can. No, it's not good enough for me. His best sucks. Sorry, I don't like his best. We're not done with this, but I'll tell you why I don't like it. All right. The court does, though, caution all counsel for deputizing an internet community to do indirectly that which an attorney is expressly prohibited to do directly. Florida Rule of Professional Conduct 4-3.5D4, which previously has been found to be constitutional, prohibits attorneys from having direct or indirect post-trial communications with jurors in a civil case, except as outlines in Rule number 1.431. All right, so this confused me. What is he saying here? Has anybody had contact with jurors? Direct contact with direct or indirect post-trial communications with jurors? Who had those communications with jurors? The plaintiff's counsel has not spoken to the juror as far as I know. And they were told, in fact, Greg has said that multiple times, that they have not spoken to juror number 1 or his wife or anybody else connected. So who does he think? Is it that he thinks the defense is speaking to juror number 1? I don't think so. I'm confused about this. I'm confused about what this entire paragraph means. Does anybody have any ideas on what the judge is freaking talking about here? I want to know what you guys think. Well, but is Reddit indirectly communicating with juror number 1 or his wife? I don't think so. I mean, they're saying that they're prohibited from speaking post-trial to the jurors. That's true, unless the juror contacts them. They're allowed to speak to the juror if the juror contacts them. That's what he said. All right, Ed wants to know what I think of Judge Judy. I love Judge Judy. That's true. I love Judge Judy because Judge Judy was honest about family court. And she said family court judges or family court is a dumping ground for morons and political hacks. That's a direct quote from Judge Judy. So, okay, Ed's finding me judges that I respect. That's true. All right, Judge Silkworth too. That's true. But that's just because I know him personally, though, because my sister worked for Judge Silkworth, and he is a very nice man. But I've literally never seen him in court, Stephanie. So I can't really say what I think of his rulings because I don't know them. I think him as a person, and I think Judge Green is a fantastic person as well. But I don't know any of their rulings in court, although I know you've written a lot of them. So they're probably very accurate and legally sound. So Judge Judy is true. I do like Judge Judy. Judge Darrow has the same problem that Judge Carroll has.
Wet ass P word.
Yep. She should have used the button to shock Darrell Brooks multiple times. I mean, I got so sick of watching her just have him removed to the other room. It's like, bring the hammer down on this guy already. He's just wasting everyone's time. And it's driving me insane. Of course, I think all sovereign citizens ought to be put a shock collar on them in court. And every time they do something stupid should be shocked. Sorry, but I do. Am I following the Murdoch case and the alleged wrongdoing of the court clerk? Well, somewhat, yes. I'm following it as when Legal Vices is following it, I'm following it. So like when he reports on it, I'm watching that or hanging out with him. But I'm not following it independently on my own. I'm waiting for Legal Vices to tell me what's happening because I don't have time. I wish I did. Because I know that's a crazy case. Yeah, I know. He never had shock devices on his ankles. It was just a lie. Isn't that terrible that they lied to us about that? Why didn't they put him in that and use it? Then he would stop the garbage. Sharon, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that. All right, moving on. Oh, did I miss some other super chats? I did. Ellie Fant, happy early Christmas and New Year's. What's the Shakespeare book name you keep reading from? Also, is it listed on your Amazon store? It was a gift from my best friend. It's called the Shakespeare Insult Generator. Mix and match more than 150,000 insults in the bard's own words. I don't know. I don't have it on my Amazon store, but maybe I should. I like this one. You degenerate, half-blooded dullard. It's fantastic. Fantastic book. Fantastic book. And I should use it more often because my sister says I swear too much. So maybe I'll just use more insults from Shakespeare, and then she will stop complaining. You facinerous, hell-governed miscreant. Facinerous. What does that mean? Extremely wicked and vile. Ooh, that's a great word. But am I saying it right? Facinerous. Oh, it's a great word. Yeah, there's so many of them in here. I'd never run out. Literally never run out. I should put that in my Amazon store. You're right. Don't forget to visit the Amazon store. All of my favorite things are in there, and it supports the show when you order them. All right, let's see. The court does, though. Okay, deputizing, blah, blah, blah. Or does anybody, Stephanie, since you're listening, please tell me what this means. Is he saying that he believes somebody deputized an internet community to speak indirectly or directly to juror number 1 and his wife? Oh, maybe he's suggesting that our communities, because some of us have been in contact with juror number 1 and his wife, are what? Passing on information to the plaintiff's counsel? No, that's not. I didn't do that. I've literally had, very little communication with. I have had no communication with the juror, and the juror number 1's wife sent me an email. I sent her an email back, but it had nothing to do with. There was no like inside information. It was just, hey, how you hanging in there? Sorry, this is happening to you. It's basically what it was. So Court C is saying that's how you interpret it. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know if any of that is true. I don't think that's true. I mean, Stephanie says you do swear too much. You're funny. But I mean, look, I'm trying to think of the one time the plaintiff said they had received something from someone in court that, like, remember when he was like, they used it like to get back at the defense. They were like, much like the defense received. Oh, I know. Somebody had sent them the video. But that was before the trial. Somebody sent them the video. It was a whistleblower from inside Johns Hopkins who sent them. It wasn't one of us. How would we have any of that? We don't have any of the inside video from Johns Hopkins. Somebody sent the plaintiff inside video of their town hall meeting. And that was the only time I can remember the plaintiffs using something that they got from someone, and they used the same line that the defense did. Like, well, much like the defense said, they received something from someone, so did we. That wasn't anybody from our community. That was somebody that was a whistleblower inside Johns Hopkins. There's no way we could have what are they suggesting? We hacked into Johns Hopkins and got the videos from their town hall? That's dumb. I can't think of anything else. I really can't think of anything else that this could be referring to. Like, what have they used that maybe we found out about juror number 1 and his wife that wasn't just online for anyone to see? So that's not deputizing an internet community to do anything for you. That's listening to it. You might be listening to public broadcasts that tell you things you didn't know, but that is not deputizing an internet community. You think it's 100% about the defense? I don't. I don't, because what is this? They are not talking to juror number 1 or his wife. The only people who were talking to juror number 1 and his wife are people in our internet community. So it does not have to be about the defense. I don't think it is. Because this is about juror number 1 and his wife. Prohibits attorneys from having direct or indirect post-trial communications with jurors in a civil case. I think it's about the plaintiff, but I don't know what in the world is the allegation, because what did the plaintiff use? Stephanie says he text that says, you swear so much that Alex Jones had to censor you. Okay, that's true. That's true.
Quiet, quiet, quiet. Nobody cares.
Can you believe that I was censored by Alex Jones? Can you imagine?
What is my problem?
Alex. It's true. He tried to play a clip of something I did and I was swearing. And so he was like, oh, we have to turn this off. We have to turn it off. There's too much cussing, he said. Well, it is what it is. Sometimes I get carried away. You know, Stephanie, blame dad. Blame dad. It's dad's fault. This is all dad's fault. You know what kind of household we grew up in. You know the words we heard. Oh, my dad is a really funny swearer. When he swears, it's very funny. It's usually very comedic, which is the only way I think swearing is fun. I think it's only fun when it's used for comedic purposes. I don't think it's fun to swear at people in anger. That's always annoying. That's always like hurtful. But I think when it's used in for comedic purposes, then it's good. It's fun. That's what I try to teach my children. Don't swear at people. Just use your swearing for laughter and fun. And then it's not offensive. Well, it's offensive to some people. I got an email the other day from somebody who was so sweet, and I hope you're still in the audience. And she said she just loves this program, but she hates when I use the F word. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm very sorry. I'm a bad person. I can't. I got a shame email.
Shame.
Don't swear at, just swear about. Exactly. Yes. All right. Well, you can't always get what you want. Sorry, ma'am. You can't always get what you want. Oh, boy. All right. Maybe for Lent, I'll give up swearing. That'll be funny. I'll have to really turn to the Shakespeare insult generator for that. All right. That would be very hard for me, by the way. Very difficult. So maybe I really should do it for Lent. It would be a real sacrifice. Because my favorite word is shit. Every time I drop something, that's what comes out. And I can't help myself. I'm going to have to try and stop that, though. Yes, Stephanie says use your Shakespeare quotes instead. I have to find like a good word for like when I drop something, because that's the one that really bothers me. A sneaping, under-honest miscreant. Sneaping. What is that? A biting or nipping? Sneaping. Under-honest. Under-honest is great. Pig nut. A pig nut. I know there's so much ADHD in this stream. I'm sorry. I'll get back on track. The court also will not address with juror. By the way, there's 892 of you here on YouTube, and I don't know how many of you are here on Rumble, but please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We are so close to 25,000 subscribers. I am so excited about that. So please hit the like button right now. There's 900 of you here, and I don't know how many of you actually did hit the button, or let me see. Do I have the studio open? No, I don't have the YouTube. Yes, I do. Oh, there are only 300 and some likes. You guys, that's offensive. 355 likes for 893 of you here. Yeah, that's not okay. Hey, Montana gifted some memberships, 5 memberships gifted. Welcome to the Fox Den, all 5 of you. Should we do that 5 times? That's a fox, by the way. All right, I can only do it 3 times. That's what a fox sounds like. What does the fox say? All right. Billy Marie, thanks for the super chat, says, I'm so happy you're covering this. Love watching Ari and the lawyers, but you always say the things I'm thinking. We are the jury. That's what they don't get. It's true. They never got that. They maybe would have gotten it if they had listened. Oh, Montana did 10 gifted memberships. Wow. Thank you so much. 5 and 5. I appreciate that. We are getting close to 25,000 subscribers, and that will be fun. I'll do another celebration stream when we do that. Maybe we'll do a fun Jeopardy game again. And it'll be fun. 25,000 subscriber show. It'll be fun. All right. Back to it. Are the likes up yet? 410? That's still only half of how many of you are here. I mean, how many of you are here from Reddit? Are there a bunch of you here from Reddit? Is that why you're not hitting the like button? You know, even you guys can like the show. I know you do because you're here watching it. So, you know, you can't fool me. You cannot fool me. I know that you're enjoying it. Or you wouldn't be here, would you? Hey, Flux. You thought it was a pig squeal. Not a pig squeal. That's a fox. Have you ever lived in the country where there are foxes? Because in the middle of the night, you will hear that horrific screaming. It sounds like a woman screaming. And it's the most terrifying thing you've ever heard until you realize what it is. And it's just foxes. And they sound like women screaming. It's the most bizarre sound. Look it up on YouTube. All right. The court also will not address with juror number 1 the matter involved in the third supplement. In that stupid supplement, defendant claims juror number 1 falsely answered during voir dire that he had not previously been a victim of a crime. Defendant only recently has provided documents indicating juror number 1 sought and received an injunction for protection against repeat violence in Charlotte County, Florida in 2016. Defendant asserts it learned this information after entry of the verdict, but this third supplement raising this claim was filed several weeks after the 15-day deadline under Rule 1.431H and does not attempt to show good cause for this delay. Accordingly, the claim is untimely. But why didn't he also point out that it is not only untimely, but it is untrue? He did check the box that he or a family member had been a victim of a crime. He did. In the 18B, he checked yes, and he was questioned about it by the judge, and the judge, he said to the judge, it was my stepson. It was my stepson. Oh, Rumble is very concerned about me giving up swearing. He said, please don't do that. Show would be so lame. Oh, that's funny. Thanks, Crazy Warlock. I do appreciate the input. Oh, man. But maybe I could give it up, though, for the 40 days of Lent. That's not a whole lot of time. Although it seems like an eternity. All right. Yeah. So it's not only untimely, it's untrue. And I wish that he had said that, because what he checked the box no to was, have you ever been convicted of a crime or charged with a crime? He said no. Have you or a family member ever been a victim of a crime? He said yes. So it's inaccurate. It's untrue. Not just untimely. It's untrue. Yeah, a fox totally sounds like a woman getting murdered. I almost called 911 the first time I heard it. I was like, holy cow, that's like somebody in the woods getting murdered. And I'm like, wait a minute, does that make sense? Would there really be someone in the woods getting murdered out here in the middle of nowhere? Probably not. And then I realized, oh, it's like repeating that sound over and over again. And now it sounds kind of animal-like on second thought. Yeah. Yep, that's a fox. They sound really weird. Lois Thomas says, no, you must swear. Makes me feel less degenerate about my swearing. We're all in the same boat here, folks. The court believes an interview of juror number 1 is sufficient to address the issues raised by defendant. And there is no need for invasive discoveries such as forensic searches of phones or computers. Thank God. Thank God he decided that. The only topic, okay, but here's the thing. I think he should have said the defense is out of their damn minds for wanting this invasive discovery and forensic searches of a phone. He needs to be a whole lot more assertive about this to make people feel safe to serve on a jury. I mean, this makes me feel like he almost gave it to him because he's giving him this interview. The only topics on which the court will permit an interview of juror number 1 are totally stupid. Here's what they are. Number 1, whether juror number 1 received or shared information about the subject matter of the trial through outside sources, including his spouse. That's literally the same question that he got asked every day in the courtroom. You think he's going to answer differently? This is so bizarre. No, Nick, I don't want it to have more appeals issues than it does, but this was never going to be something that an appeals judge was going to take seriously. I don't think. And you know, this is just, I know what you guys think here, but I'm saying the damage has already been done. The damage has already been done. Number 2, whether juror number 1 conducted an investigation about the subject matter of the trial, including looking up websites. Again, the same question he was asked in court every day. You think he's going to answer differently? Juror number 3, juror number 1's knowledge of Deborah Salisbury, if any, at the time juror number 1 completed the supplemental questionnaire. This one is so dumb. He is supposed to know his wife's attorney from her ex-marriage. There's no way he knew this person. This was many, many years ago. And we're not even sure if she was the lead attorney on the case or just one of the attorneys at the law firm that his wife used when she divorced her last husband. Would there ever be any reason for her to bring up that name to her new husband, the name of the attorney she used? No way. This is so stupid. Number 4, whether juror number 1 had an undisclosed opinion concerning DCF or any prior entity during jury selection, and whether and to what extent juror number 1 and DCF or any prior entity were involved in Broward County Circuit case number, and it's the case number that was the allegation against him by an ex-wife that there was some child abuse. Now, this allegation, I guarantee you, had no DCF involvement because she never even showed up at court. According to the court record, she did not show up to the hearing that would have heard the evidence against him for child abuse. So it was dropped. DCF, I guarantee you, wasn't involved. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I'm guessing. Slidey Pie on Rumble says, I don't know the name of my own lawyer from 30 years ago. Yeah, exactly. Why would you know the name of your wife's lawyer for her ex-marriage? That is ridiculous. I would imagine that juror number 1, as a law enforcement officer, had plenty of experience with DCF. And he answered honestly on the verdict when he said he had no opinion or, no negative opinion of DCF, because he most likely had a positive opinion of DCF. Because as a police officer, you're going to run into cases of child abuse, and DCF will be called. And in at least some of those cases, it's appropriate that DCF get involved, and especially if the police are involved most of the time. So I would not think he would have any negative opinion of DCF. And why would it matter? This case wasn't against DCF. DCF is not a party to the case. In fact, they were kept out of it entirely by Chapter 39. So I don't even understand the questioning on the thing. I don't even understand the juror questions about DCF. Why would you care? Because there's no DCF involvement in this case, and not in the lawsuit anyway. And they were repeatedly told to ignore all the DCF goings on in this case. In this case, the court will decline to interview juror number 1 in a place other than open court. This is another problem I think I have with this. Now, you know how I feel about open courts. I think open courts are essential to liberty, and I think they should all be open. However, so I'm torn about this because the journalist in me says, yeah, I want to see this. But the concerned citizen in me says, I don't think he should be put on camera again. I don't think that juror number 1 should be opened up to public ridicule or whatever Reddit's going to do to him next by putting him on television. He hasn't done anything. He has not done anything to deserve this. And now, and again, to me, this is just one more reason for people to say, I'm never going to serve on a jury because I don't want my I thought the jurors' identities were protected. I thought that the court was supposed to never release this information unless I chose to release it. And yes, he did come forward and say who he was, but he didn't ask for this. The court will therefore conduct the interview in open court. The court will be the person to ask the questions of juror number 1. The court. So just Judge Carroll. After the court has completed its questions, the court will permit the parties to suggest to the court additional concepts that the court may ask juror number 1. It is therefore ordered the court will allow a limited juror interview only on the topics identified in this order and under the conditions referenced in this order. 2, defendant is ordered immediately to send juror number 1 a subpoena via process server or sheriff directing number 1 to attend the juror interview, which is currently set for 3 p.m. on Wednesday, January 3rd. I told you it was happening. I already put it in my calendar the day he said reserved January 3rd. I put it in my calendar because I knew he was going to do it. Judges never, ever pick dates if they're not planning on doing it. He was going to do it all along. Defendant shall also include in the service package a copy of this order, a copy of the notice of hearing, a copy of the defendant's original motion for juror interview, and a copy of the first supplement to the motion. 3, when defendant files the return of service and copy of the subpoena, the defendant shall file a notice of confidential information identifying the clerk to redact the address of juror number 1 anywhere in the papers filed. Well, thanks a lot, Judge Carroll, for doing that now. How come you didn't stop the defendant from putting his address not redacted that was up for weeks on the court docket? Why didn't you stop them then? It's too late. He's already been doxxed by Reddit all over the place. The defendant shall refer to this order directing the clerk to keep juror number 1's address exempt from public disclosure. Too late. Too late. It's already been done. JPC, thanks for the super chat, says, as am I. You are a well-educated woman with a well-seasoned sailor. Oops, wait, here's another one. Oops, I left out a word. With the vocabulary of a well-seasoned sailor. Nice. Nice. It's my dad's fault. Blame my dad. It's all his fault. All right, let's see. All right, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, we finally have Alton Burned. I've been spelling it right. Yay. That's everybody wants to know how to spell his name. That's how. Altenbernd. Okay, we are finally through with this order. And you all have my opinion on it. I think it's garbage. I think it's bad. And now, what's happening now is everybody needs to go over to Locals, meganfox.locals.com, and sign up. Because I am going to show you, here, I'll give you a little preview of what we're going to do over there. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be fun. Andrea Dunlop is going to get her ass handed to her for doing the thing that she did by taking clips of my show. Here she is. She calls herself an author and podcaster. You know, that's another funny thing that she did. In her show, she introduced me and my show by saying that Greg Anderson appeared on the Megan Fox show. Megan Fox calls herself an investigative journalist and broadcaster. Andrea, I don't call myself that. That's what I am. It's what I do. And anybody who ever, look, I will admit, I do the same thing that she's doing. If I want to denigrate somebody, I'll say a self-described social media influencer. She's got she's a self-described author and podcaster. She's written a novel, and she has a podcast on Apple called Nobody Should Believe Me, where she features a bunch of people who say they've been victims of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. She's a Munchausen obsessed person. And yeah, so she's been interviewing Ethan Shapiro. She's going to interview Sally Smith. And so we're going to listen to her podcast that she did about the Maya trial and all of her complaining about my program and about us having a laugh. Oh, Slidey Pie, thanks so much for the Rumble rant. Says, Megan, you have a great laugh and it brings me joy. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. You know who does not get joy from my laughter? Andrea Dunlop. She does not. She does not find it funny at all. She thinks that laughing is somehow prohibited when it comes to serious things. We're not allowed to laugh at the witches in the 7th floor coven. We're not allowed to laugh at J Hatch and what their Heart Institute sounds like. Whoops, wrong button. We're not allowed to laugh at John's drop kids dropping kids all over the place. We're not allowed to laugh. Why do I keep hitting that wrong button? What is my problem?
What is my problem?
We're not allowed to laugh at these things. We're not allowed to have any of the fun that we have here.
Emotional damage.
Andrea Dunlop says so. And she didn't reach out to me. So I'm not going to reach out to her before I decide to drag her ass on Locals. How do you use the Locals code? Well, that is a good question. Here's how you do it. You go to meganfox.locals.com. And then you click on subscribe monthly and you sign up using promo code MAYA, Maya, all capital letters, and it will give you a free month on me. So get on over there and sign up today, because when I stop this program, that's what we are going to be doing. We're going to be going over to Locals, and I am going to we're going to listen to this podcast that Andrea Dunlop did. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to Fisk it old school style, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be hilarious, and there's going to be memes. Locals is going to start making memes of Andrea Dunlop and her podcast because she hates memes. She hates them. So you know what that means? That means get ready, Locals, because your memeing skills are going to be required. All right, Locals exclusive coming up in the next few minutes. I can't tell you exactly when. As soon as I'm going to take a bathroom break, and then I'm going to get it going. All right, everybody. Today's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for being here. If you want to know what Fisk means, you need to look it up in the Urban Dictionary. It's old school, man. It's old school. I used to be really good at it. So there will be swearing. Yes, there will be. Can you eventually share it on a members space on YouTube? Well, if I can figure out how to do a members only stream on YouTube, maybe we'll do that as well. We'll do Locals and members only YouTube at the same time. Okay. I'll try and figure that out, but it would be safer for you to just sign up over at Locals, because I don't know if I even know how to do that yet. All right, everybody, take care. I'm out of here, and I'll see you over on Locals, meganfox.locals.com. All right, everybody, see you later.
I was so lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. Oh, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna say. No, I don't wanna say goodbye. alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna stay. No, I don't wanna say goodbye.
So I take it that
Johnny's problem is he should come storming in there with a string of garlic and some holy water.
And a cross, a crucifix one.
May the power of Christ compel you.
No, I don't.
You realized his house was infested with succubuses.
Of what? Yes.
Succuloters.
When you arrived in the afternoon. I don't remember saying it now. So while she
No wonder he said drown her before you burn her.
Oh my god.
Your next witness?
Now I know why you wanted to drown her.
Laces. And that is
Witness
also
lives in
by
Romania.
video.
Is that correct?